Hello, everyone. That's a warm welcome. So, they told me I was too much, too loud, too sensitive. But what if too much was exactly what the world needed? Let me take you back a moment. I'm sitting on a cold school bench, alone, again, watching the other kids laughing and talking like I wasn't even there. I was that girl, the girl who was different, too outspoken, too loud, the one who felt like she was never enough, but too much at the same time. I wanted so desperately to be seen, to be loved, to belong, but instead, I sat there, convincing myself there was something fundamentally wrong with me. One day, sitting on that school bench, I made a decision. I decided I was done with being a victim, done with feeling invisible. In the words of Eleanor Roosevelt, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. I made a powerful, conscious choice. I would own my confidence, and people were going to love me. My parents gave me a choice, and I changed schools. So, I reinvented myself. I became the cool girl, the one who would say the right things, stand in all the right places, and wear the right clothes. From the outside, it looked like I had cracked the code to belonging. But on the inside, I was still hollow, still searching for something I could feel but never name. You see, I come from a family where loss runs deep. My father was a refugee. My grandfather, a missing person in the War of Cyprus from the Turkish invasion of 1974. His absence cast a long shadow over my childhood. An emptiness, a void that I always felt but could never explain. I see now that that pattern didn't start with me. That loss lived in my nervous system, in my bones, passed down through blood and silence. I was carrying their pain without even realizing it. In a blind effort to find this missing piece, I thought, if I could build the picture-perfect life, the degree, the career, the relationship, I could outrun it. Boy, was I wrong. I kept searching for belonging in all the wrong places. I moved from Cyprus to London to study real estate and finance. Yes, real estate and finance. Chasing for freedom and independence, something new, becoming someone new. I was the first woman in my bloodline to go to university. I was meant to be breaking the cycle. But the freedom and the weight of that expectation hit me harder than life itself. One day, as I was walking out of the club, I saw a group of women in the street peeing on the floor right there in front of me. And I thought, what the hell am I doing here? This isn't my tribe. That's when the truth sunk in. I was studying something that I didn't want to be, and I wasn't where I wanted to be. So I did what many of us do when life feels out of control. I numbed it. I turned to food. I stuffed down my feelings because I didn't know how to sit with the pain. I slipped into a deep, dark depression where even getting out of bed felt impossible. Until one day, clarity broke through the fog. I thought, if I can't control the world around me, I could at least control what goes into my body, into my mind. So I started to study food, movements, and the connection that that had to my body and my emotional states. The more I moved, the more the heaviness started to lift. The stress, the pain, the sadness, the anxiety. As Gabor Mate says, trauma doesn't just live in the mind, it lives in the body. So as I was building my strength physically, I was also building my strength emotionally. And that's when I started to feel like myself again. More whole, more aligned. But as we know, healing isn't always linear. Just as I was starting to rise, I betrayed myself. I followed my husband Stefano from country to country while he was building his dreams, his career. I made the unconscious decision that his dreams were more important than mine. One day, he turned and said to me, "What have you done with your life?" What had I done with my life? Wait. What had I done with my life? I had been sacrificing my voice, my power, just like generations of women before me had done. My grandmother, my mother. The women who sacrificed loudly and loved loudly. But I decided that my story would be different. I would not be the woman who followed. I would be the woman that led. Now, I forgot to mention that while we were moving countries, we moved from Italy to London to Saudi Arabia, I was also shifting careers. I worked in real estate and finance, in property auction houses, in fine art auction houses. I even built a dog walking business. So that meant, with this decision in mind, that I had to make a decision, that I couldn't keep betraying myself. That meant I had to walk away from the corporate world with no plan, no roadmap, just an inner knowing that I couldn't keep betraying myself. You see, I didn't know what my yes was yet, but I knew what my no was. And I had learned that the more I honor my no's, then I would be one step closer to my truth, my purpose. At that point, we had just moved to Saudi Arabia. I was spending hours in the gym, and I started studying mindset work and somatic practices. I developed the expertise on how the nervous system holds trauma and how it can be released through the body. I became obsessed with the mind-body connection. One day in the gym, a woman came up to me and said, "I love your body. Would you train me?" And I said, "Hell no." But then I thought, why not? So I flew back and forth to Dubai and I became a certified personal trainer. And suddenly, for the first time in my life, I felt a spark. But it wasn't the training that lit me up. It was seeing these women come together in my programs, in my trainings. It was about the connection. It wasn't about the workouts. Moving, sweating, breathing, witnessing each other, supporting one another. And I realized in that moment that that was my yes. That was my spark. I wasn't just teaching them to move their bodies, I was teaching them to reclaim their power. When I saw them transform, I saw my own reflection. I recognized that I was giving them permission to stop shrinking, to start living and leading from a place of truth, not fear. I was teaching them how to move from self-doubt to confidence. Piece by piece, I wove it all together. The science, the soul, the healing. Creating a method that not only heals, but empowers. I created a framework, the authentic empowerment blueprint, one that fuses science and soul, nervous system recalibration and emotional regulation, leadership and embodiment. I created a framework not just to heal myself, but to help other women reclaim their power too. Fusing the rational with the intuitive, the clinical with the mystical, creating a path of liberation. Because at that point, I had been studying. I became a certified sound healer, unlocking emotional regulation, emotional release at a cellular and energetic level. I became a systemic family constellation therapist, unlocking hidden patterns and dynamics passed down through generations. And all of this was fused into my method. Because true empowerment and healing isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of yourself, more whole, more aligned. You see, the first step to finding yourself is to first lose yourself. Let go of who you think you're supposed to be and embrace who you are. Owning your too muchness is exactly what the world needs. Stand tall, own it all, and lead with heart. That's when you stop surviving and you start leading. That's when you become unstoppable. Thank you.